Canada. Canada in American movies. Why there is less gravity in Hudson Bay, Canada. Everyone else. Canadians and Australians. What foreigners are scared of in Canada. What Canadians are scared of in Canada. No matter how cold it gets. Some weirdo in Canada is sleeping with a fan on. My driving instructor always told me to give a moose the right of way. Legal, illegal versus illegal and legal. Gun control versus chocolate control. Canada, after seeing the mess in the USA. In other countries, they have an elf on the shelf. In Canada, we have goose on moose. Fashion at my small town Canadian bar. When a serial killer breaks into your home, but you live in Canada. The most photogenic moose in the world. In Canada, even the moose are gentlemen. More gentlemen than the men. While you're arguing about pineapple on pizza, Canadians are doing this and getting away with it. Geese around the world versus geese in Canada. Canadian bathroom graffiti. Your mum is a something lady? Your father is proud of you. Hailstorm in Canada. Why did I think nothing bad happens in Canada? Canadian police don't use dogs. They use geese. Please stop. Traffic must turn left. Canadian stop sign. Canada sucks because half the country speaks French and the other half lets them. Canada begins construction on a wall at the Canada-US border. And it's beavers, they're doing all the work. It doesn't get much more Canadian. Beaver Street, Maple Avenue. Stop. October, April. Meanwhile in Canada. Petition to rename the USA South Canada. What about Alaska? Are we the normal Canada? Canada a bit to the left. What about South America? Is that just America or South Canada? I cried my hat. Other Canada, East Canada, everywhere's Canada. Okay, now... Planets are Canadian. Furry conventions versus dogman sighting. Coincidence? I fixed the US-Canada border. People not from Canada. How do you see the average Canadian? By traveling to Canada. Sell Montana to Canada for $1 trillion to erase national debt. Montana is literally useless. Just tell Canada that it has beavers or something. So it has a maple syrup farm. The entire US-Canadian border is defined by a 20-foot deforested area called the Slash. How didn't I know about this? Oh no, someone said pop. Where are they from? Bump into them. Sorry, Canada. Oop, Midwest. Passive-aggressive glare. Pacific Northwest. Does Canada even have a president? Or is it just whatever moose has the strongest antlers? Oh my actual god. During the annual hair freezing contest in Canada, contestants keep themselves warm in the hot springs while letting the cold winter air freeze their wet hair into interesting shapes. Gamer girl, the ideal girlfriend who plays video games but extremely rare, said to only be found in the magical land of Canada. Canadians, rest of the world, where are they? The amount of snow in Canada right now. Emergency has been declared. Looks like the entrance to opposite world. Meanwhile, in Canada, there are only 2 seasons in Canada. Flu and mosquito. Canada in real life. Canada according to Americans. Sorry, dear neighbors, we have kidnapped your bird. It will be safely returned to you on impeachment day. We believe this is in everyone's best interest. With love, Canada. In Canada, even the robbers are polite. Sorry to cause this mess in your house. I just wanted some food but broke a glass. Be careful, the floor is not fully clean. I go to school in Ottawa and we write our exams in a hockey rink. Serious question. If the same person holds 2 consecutive doors for you, is it common courtesy to say thank you both times? This is the most Canadian yes, it is. Yeah, I would say thank you both times, of course. So the Montreal police officers are on strike to shame the government and they decided to wear different kind of pants. Those orange pants look really cool. You are like a brother to me. I loved you. And they're speaking in Russian for some reason. In case you didn't know, Canada has a strategic national maple syrup reserve. It was stolen. Netflix has a documentary about the theft. I've discovered what I want to be when I grow up. Any Canadian. I've lived in Canada my whole life. Canada. Most Americans don't realize how big America is. Look, I'm cooking potatoes and one of them is from Canada. I shall grant thee any wish. Now speak. Japan, California. May I have a wheelchair ramp, please? Health Canada. Best I can do is assisted death. I just realized my favorite part of Michigan is that one highway exit in Detroit where if you get off, they force you to go to Canada and you can't turn around. I once saw a guy swerve 3 lanes to not go to Canada. I had to swerve across 3 lanes of traffic to not go to Canada. Being a Canadian is confusing because you sound like an American, write like a Brit, and throw in just enough French words to freak everyone out. Canadian bacon. Those who know. Canada, where 10 degrees is considered a heat wave. Canada and US language differences. Color, bunny hug, hoodie, pop, soda. A good healthcare system. I left coffee in my car last night. Still want to come to Canada? You mean I don't even need to buy a fridge when I come? Canada hit by massive mobile internet outage. Communications disruption could mean only one thing: invasion. In Canada, it is illegal to pretend to practice witchcraft. However, completely legal to practice witchcraft. So you're not allowed to be a poser. I like that. In 2019, a cinema in Canada accidentally played the horror movie The Curse of La Llorona instead of Detective Pikachu. Terrified children then began to cry and scream. Hawaiian pizza was invented in Canada by a Greek immigrant who was inspired by Chinese food to put a South American ingredient on an Italian dish. Meanwhile, in Canada, I don't care, it's April. I love our money so much. It smells like maple syrup and has hidden secrets. What even is Canada? Canadian money makes no sense. British, Canada, eh? British. Canada, you don't even go here. Why can't I own a Canadian? Walk faster. How Americans see American beer. How Canadians see American beer. When you don't say sorry in Canada, no one. Robbers in Canada. Good morning, everyone. Would you be so kind to give me all of your money? In Newfoundland, a woman called to complain of noisy kids. This is how the police responded. Meanwhile, in Canada, annual snowball fight at UBC postponed due to snow. Nice truck. Thanks. You too. Let me guess. Canada. Meanwhile, in Canada, free snowman. Some assembly required. Canada in 1965 be like, yo, that's a cool flag. Canada taps into strategic reserves to deal with massive shortage of maple syrup. We have you surrounded, Canada. Come out with your maple syrup. I love waffles. Polar bears in Canada have become good friends with a group of sled dogs. In Canada, we play Guess If You're in a Lane. Level 2. Add construction zones. Some seasons from around the world. Winter, spring, summer, fall. This is in Canada. United Kingdom, it's basically always raining. Philippines, summer, typhoon. Solution to USA/Canada rivalry. Canada becomes part of America and we take down everyone as one super country. The US of eh. Here's a map of the Louisiana Purchase. What happened up here? Did Canada ask nicely or something? I want it back. War is on the table. Fun fact, your new large cups in Canada can hold 4 packets of ramen noodles. The important information we've all been needing. Yo, America, Dad's coming to visit. We've got to act like we've been good boys. Canada, bring out the fine china. Wow, very nice of you boys for treating me by bringing out your finest cups. You can get it at the dollar store for $2 a pack. Breaks a glass bottle. Who wants to fight? Accidentally cut some. Are you okay? This post is so Canadian. I live in Texas. You're definitely Canadian. I'm not Canadian. What about? I was with a new friend yesterday and he was telling us how he worked on a maple syrup farm. And then he kind of pulls me aside and was like, hey, don't tell anyone, but I can get you some maple syrup at a nice discount price. But technically it's not legal, but let's keep that on the down low. And I think I just made friends with an illegal maple syrup dealer. What's that, Texas? There's frost on your grass? Cool story, bro. Language differences. Soda. Pop. Reality show where Canadians are sent to Australia and vice versa. No plot, no missions. Just Canadians and Australians trying to survive each other's weather. Our latest episode. Dutch royalty in Ottawa. Our child must be born on Dutch land. Let us borrow this land and we'll give it back as soon as the baby's born. Sure thing, bro. First Canadian coins unveiled with King Charles' image. What do you think? Way too big. Canadian government billboard ad in my city. Tariffs are a tax on your grocery bill. Canadian store not accepting US currency. Sorry, we no longer accept US currency. A 39-year-old man survived 9 days in the Canadian wilderness on pond water. He carved help into a rock that led rescuers to his shelter, made out of mud and wood. Canadian doctors be like, if you feel sad, I can eat you. A man in Canada is still using his Sony PSP for GPS in 2025. Terry Fox running during his marathon of Hope Run across Canada in 1980. He ran for 143 days. But yeah, of course he can run that far because he's only got one leg. This is really impressive. Bring back my wheelbarrow. Thank you for bringing back my wheelbarrow. Canadians, we're usually nice people until hockey comes on. Then if you're not on our team, you best shut the hell up. Canadian crime scene. A double homicide. Adds, don't get more Canadian than this. Sorry we didn't think of maple sooner. Canada in Dutch history books. Canada in German history books. Canada in Quebec history books. Canada in Canadian history books. Hey, North Korea, here's a handy map of the USA. Oh my, Native Americans USA and Canada, why would you do this? Every country has done something horrible, but yeah, it's truly tragic what happened. This is the field right now at Commonwealth for the Mexico versus Canada game. I think Canada might have an unfair advantage. Dolphins have returned to Italy. Meanwhile, in Canada in 1915. I just took out an entire German army with just my bayonet. 2020. People doubt my existence. When you die in Canada, you die in real life. He protect, he attack, but most importantly, he has Canada Goose's back. Civilians. So how do I defend myself? Canada? That's the neat part. You don't. Wow, it's almost like it's the UK. We're not allowed to do this either. Protests in the USA versus protests in Canada. Don't do it again, okay? I'm a little upset. The punishment for stealing 5k in Canada is a 2k fine. Follow for more financial advice. Meanwhile, in Canada, you know it's cold when the ticket machines are wearing parkas. The world's shortest international bridge, connecting a homeowner in Canada to his backyard in New York. You Americans have bad healthcare. Up in Canada, we have it free. Canadian healthcare. The world's largest truck was the 1974 Terex 3319 Titan, built by General Motors of Canada. Britain standing alone against Germany after the fall of France. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and India. We give you guys credit too, come on. Canada right now. But if we crush the economy, we both drown, said the frog. Lol, said the scorpion. LMAO. If Canada buys Elon Musk, I am moving to Twitter. Friend, where are we going? Me? No time to explain. Get in. When someone breaks into your house in America, get the gun. When someone breaks into your house in Canada, prepare for the most unpleasant pillow fight of your life. Why do I feel more of an urge to shout freedom and celebrate 4th of July than I did Canada Day when I'm Canadian? That's the power of America. How Japanese view the Canadians. Hello everyone, I'm Kate Wood. This is some BC bud, one of my country's biggest exports. I'm from Canada, it's not America. I have a maple leaf flag on my bag. I pour maple syrup on everything. Thank you. Canada keeps McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, Wendy's, all junk food and liquor stores open, but shuts down gyms and fitness centers to keep you healthy. Are we that stupid? Yes, we are. Of course we're that stupid. Happy Canada Day, you syrup drinking, hockey loving piece of... Happy 4th of July, you gun touting capitalistic poop weasel. Thanks. The accuracy of this is precious. Me. Goes for a morning run while using a VPN. What my FBI agencies trying to buy used car parts from Canada. How much was the setup? 1800 Canadian for the tower. How much is that in real dollars and not maple leaves? 1800 maple leaves is about 1300 bald eagles, I think. Canadian street gangs. So the average American versus the average Canadian. Canadians drinking slushies and t-shirts amongst snow in April. Canadians most of the time. Canadians that one time at Vimy. People who say, Canadians. Americans making fun of Canadians. Canadians making fun of Americans making fun of Canadians. Sometimes I get mad at Canadian stereotypes, but then again a few weeks ago I said, excuse me, to a Canadian goose, and then thanked it when it moved out of my way. You have to be polite to Canadian geese or else they'll Did I just say moose? I think I said, did I? I don't even know, I don't even remember. Americans be like, damn it. Canadians be like, hold my timmies. Does Canada have an army, or do they just send herds of moose after their enemies? We don't have enemies because we don't stir up drama with other countries like the rest of you. What Americans know about Canada. Actual facts. It's cold. You know you're in Canada when the car in front of you is a Zamboni, driven by a guy in a hockey helmet in July. There was a gang turf war outside of my apartment today. Canada begins construction on a wall at the US-Canada border. The neurodivergent experience is talking about your brain as if it's a separate entity from yourself. My new sign finally arrived. The dog has a gun and refuses to take his medication. They call me El Salsa. I really try to challenge Canadian stereotypes at every opportunity, but today I was walking down Yonge Street in Toronto, and a fire truck honked very loudly, and I clutched my chest and said, my word. And as it drove past, a fireman leaned out the window and apologized to me, so I just don't know. No tobogganing permitted at this facility. Sorry, those polite Canadians. If you know what this is for, you might be Canadian. Canadians, they get it. So, my American friend made us a cake for Canada Day. Meanwhile in Canada, off two Tims. Canadian summers are quite balmy. March 11th, March 12th. Yes, the Canadian spring. It was very nice while it lasted. Canadian hell. This is a sad day. In the most Canadian picture ever, my buddy caught a puck with his poutine. My favorite thing about history is how everyone tries to invade Russia, but are somehow caught off guard by the Russian winter. In Soviet Russia, country fight for you. My brother, I have a very interesting theory that if Canadians tried to invade Russia, they would actually survive, but once they reached the capital, they would just just make friends and play some hockey. I agree with this assessment. Canadians have the best bus stops. Are you kidding me, Canada? What's ice hockey? Canada versus Canada in American movies. When you say sorry for sneezing, Canada. The earth without art is just Canadians. What Americans know about Canada. Actual facts. It's cold. I didn't know they have diapers made specifically for Canadian babies. Schools closed. Police stay home. Buses, we're not driving. City, please don't drive. We're having a hard time getting to emergencies. Minimum wage bosses. So when are you coming in? People up north who have snow half of the year. Visible confusion. Meanwhile in Canada, Snowda. My plan for world domination begins with apologizing. I have winter tires and heated seats. Canadians, flirting. Canada's gift to the world. You're welcome. A Canadian man was arrested for a DUI and no license after driving a child's pink Barbie Jeep to a gas station. Meanwhile in Canada, behold the texting mid, a sign of how low we have sunk. How low? This is really convenient, especially in Canada where it's negative a-hole degrees out. Besides, sometimes you don't need your phone while walking outside, whether for light or communication or directions. Like, I've needed to text people while outside several times this week. I'd rather not literally risk frostbite to do it. European history in Canada. Indigenous history in Canada.